same room together.
Yay!
And I am Qualita, Qualana, and Amoya. And we are
Build a Sister Up.
Sister Up. We are in the same room together.
And we have our guest.
We have our special guest here again.
Aishan.
Ethan.
Hi. Thank you for joining us, Miss Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm honored.
Good. Let's see.
A second, let's start with a t-shirt or something.
Okay.
So we do have our lovely topic. Can you hear us real good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's a lot of this stuff.
I don't know.
We are just trying to make sure everyone can hear.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have a topic. It just seems like we can't hear ourselves well, but
So,
if you can hear us good, that's fine. So we are going to start with our topic. We ran a little late, but we're here. We got it. Thank you all for joining us.
Yes.
So what is our topic today, beautiful ladies?
What steps should you take in order to choose a good parent for your children?
And we will let our guests answer first. What steps would you take? What things or what qualities or how do we vet who will be a good parent for our future children?
First and foremost, I'm sorry if there's background noise, but first and foremost, definitely be careful who you listen to. Be careful who you seek guidance from.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first step in choosing the right partner or potential spouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the main thing is, if people are looking to get married or simply just have a stable relationship that's healthy and positive, I would seek counseling from those who are very experienced in that.
Mm-hmm.
From people who are been in a successful relationship. Doesn't even have to be marriage. Live just a successful relationship for at least 20 years or more. That would be my suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
20
years or more? You said 20 years or more?
Yeah, at least.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well,
that's what I would start off with.
Okay.
We can build upon that.
Okay. Well, Qualita.
Okay, we're gonna get a mic check 1, 2 real quick from our sound engineer here.
I can hear you guys.
Soon to be school.
So,
sorry, we're working on a
okay.
computer. Now the question is,
what steps would you take to decide who will be a good parent for your children or your future children?
Now that's a good one, because first, we have to pick the right person. We gotta pick the right person, because it's a lot of times we go based off of sight, what we see the person looks like, and we don't even cut to the chase and find out what's going on in their life, how many kids they have, how much debt they have, if they've been married before. We just see them for what they look like, their nice body, beautiful teeth, and a car. Sometimes we do look at a car, or sometimes we don't even look at that, because a lot of times some people can get dropped off by Uber and Lyft.
That's true.
Or their friend, or their car could be around the corner and they walk over there. But a lot of times you can't judge a book by its cover. Yeah, that's the word.
I'm sorry.
We do now. The Bible says you should always pray first. Pray and ask God for guidance on who you should be with, and that's first and foremost. And then you gotta dive into that person and see what that person is about. Like try and find out how many baby mamas he has or she has, or get the kids on the phone. That's another great topic too, if you think about it.
Yeah, that goes right back to counseling, which I was speaking about.
Invite the person to meet your kids. That's another great topic. But that's another good topic for another day. But what was I saying? Okay, income, how many kids the person has, what else? How much debt they have, and what are their goals?
Yeah, that goes
So
right
to
back to
me,
counseling.
you have to first try and date that person, meaning date that person and find out what they're about. Not actually like date and be sexual, stuff like that. You actually got to date the person's mind. That's what I'm trying to say. You need to date that person's mind. Really pick their mind and see what's going on. Because, you know, a lot of times people can tell you a bunch of mess. Not saying if you date their mind for, let's say, I don't know, 6 months, they're not going to tell you some mess. But you at least want to find out what you can find out about that person before you sit up there and have some kids. Because
Yeah, well said.
a lot of times you get involved with these men and women and they say they're all nice and all this other stuff, and you find out 7 years later they had a child. Okay, so that's it.
Okay, I love the points that you've already made and that Qualitha's already made. And so, of course, if a person already has children, a good way to determine whether they'll be a good co-parent for your children is to see how they interact with their children. But if you are a newcomer to parenting and marriage and all that, and neither one of you have children, I think a good indicator of how to see whether they will be a good parent is, one, how they treat any other children that are around them. See if they've had taken any kind liking to kid activities, like have they done any volunteer work with kids? Are they a mentor to children? How do they interact with children? Or puppies and dogs, how do they interact with animals? Are they nurturing or caring or things like that? Their nieces and nephews, if they have any, how were they raised as towards their siblings? Did they treat their siblings nice? Or how do they act towards their friends' children? Has a friend asked them to be like a godparent to ever babysit, anything like that? Are they responsible? Right. And I guess the best indicator is how they treat you. Are they kind towards you? Are they nurturing towards you? Are they responsible in all areas of their life? Or is there some like big red flag that says this person wouldn't be responsible, or they may just abandon their child, or they may not put time and energy into this because they want to do this? So if a person is overworking, like doctors or people who have these demanding fields, you have to take into account that they may not always have that time to dedicate to raising your children, but on the offside, they may be able to give financially. So you got to weigh the benefits, the pros and cons of that, and see what kind of lifestyle that you want to raise your kids in. Other than that, you got to see their religious views, whether they have any. What do they practice? Do they go to church? How do they eat? How do they think?
That's a good one.
Yeah, you just ask them, how would you raise your kids? Just ask them now. Do you want them to go to public schools, private schools? Are you going to force them to go into stuff? Are you going to force them to see your perspective? Or are you going to be liberal-minded? You know, ask them, have they ever thought about names for their kids? Like, if they thought about having names for the kids, that means that they thought about having kids and not just never thought about having kids. If they thought about, I want to plan a tuition fund for my kids, ask them things like that. Ask them. So I think if they don't have kids, a good way is to dig into their background and see what they have actually planned about the future if they want to have kids.
Well, that was a lot there with all of you guys. I don't even know how to follow that. I think you guys all mentioned very good points. I just want to add, you can also ask good questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I think a lot of people rush into things without getting to know the person. So just take your time, get to know that person, get to know their background, even do a background check, whatever you can, because when you're talking about kids, you do want to be safe. Is this person a pedophile? Is this person whatever? You know what I mean? You do want to be safe, and you want to look at the safety of your kids. So I think just ask a lot of questions. And most importantly, I think you should be equally yoked. What do they believe? Because their beliefs are going to spew into the children. So whatever they believe, the children are going to believe. It's just innate. The DNA, it's all in the DNA. So just view that person overall as an individual. How do they treat other people? What are they committed to? Because commitment, children take commitment. You have to be committed to children. So what are they committed to? What do they take pride in? Do they take pride and cars. You know, sometimes that can be good because if people take pride in certain things, they may take pride in their children. So do they have anything that is really important to them? Find out what is really important to them. Is it family? Is it, you know, dogs? Sometimes when people like dogs, they equate that to, you know, children. You look at how they are with different types of things, how they take care of different types of things. How do they take care of their own bodies? Because if they take care of their own bodies pretty well, they're going to want to take care of somebody else's. Always make sure how they're taking care of their self, because the first person on this earth you have to love is yourself before you can actually give love to other people. So view them as a person. How are they taking care of themselves? Are they eating right? Are they exercising? Are they thinking conscious? Are they financially stable? Whatever the case may be, however they're treating themselves, it's going to give out to other people.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And interesting you should say.
Well, girl, you didn't wrote a book.
I added on to that what everybody said.
Okay.
I think you have something to say, Ishan.
Yeah, interesting you also say that, because I was told that you don't really know a person until you live with them, eat with them, and work with them.
That's a good point.
So interesting you should say, bring up all those points about get to know how they interact with others and how they interact with Y and Z, you know?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Let's check out some of the comments. Akira said, conscious-minded, kind-hearted, a good relation with God, that's key. Shows a level of qualities such as instilled faith, discipline, perseverance, tranquility, self-awareness, and they need to have these qualities because there's such a necessity to a healthy relationship with both spouse and children and child.
So true.
Pride, true indeed, he said pride and nurturing in a child is important. And that's very true, because we need, as adults, we need to show children how to love, how to cry, how to hurt, how to have pain, how to overcome. Perseverance, like Kira said, because you have to know these things. Those things are also just as important as how to be financially stable, how to run a business. You have to know your physical, mental, and all well-being. So you want to know all of this in your mate, because it will show how they are going to raise their children. Again, just being equally yoked.
And how to take hurt, how to take pain. You brought that up.
Yeah.
Those are good points.
Right. So how does that person? I think somebody said before, you have to know a person in every different type of angle of their life. You have to know them when they're angry, when they're upset, when they're happy, and you have to know that in terms of if you're having children, because if a person is angry and they screaming at you, they're going to scream at their children too.
Right.
Or if a person
that goes back to living with them. So you'll find that out when you live with them.
Yeah, you're going to find that out in time. Your true colors always come out, right?
Right.
True colors always come out. You can't only fake it for so long. So the true colors comes out. So you got to look at how they are when they are up against different types of situations. How do they handle it? Because they're going to handle that with their kids. If they're impatient with you, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be impatient with a child that wants to draw on the board or wants to ride a bike. You know what I mean? Those type of things are very important.
Yeah, and on that note too, when you, as in regard to how they treat you, when you two interact, just imagine how you all handle disagreements. And when you all handle those agreements, if they get out of hand and bad, just imagine that times 10 when there's a child involved and you all are disagreeing on a certain subject. Sometimes it's going to take it to child custody in court. Yeah. So if you all are having disagreements without kids and can't handle the arguments and get into fights, verbal altercations, things like that, just consider that when you are thinking about having a kid with that same person you're having those verbal altercations with, because it's going to be worse. It's not going to be better.
That's right.
Yeah. So I definitely think it's if you are getting involved with a person that does already have kids, definitely observe them. Right. Observe, like Paulita was saying, how many children's mothers they have or fathers they have, see how their relationship is with those co-parents, and definitely see how the relationship is with the children. Do the children even like them? Would they even be open to meeting you to see how you would interact with them and seeing how the parent interacts with them? You don't want to pry into the kid's life and ask them inappropriate questions, but you want to know, do they actually like the person that you're dating and potentially going to marry and have children? you know?
Right.
Just
So-
to piggyback off of that, a lot of times, even sometimes the parents don't get along, which is unfortunate. When you have a co-parenting relationship, sometimes the parents can't get along, and sometimes one parent may say bad things about the other parent and kind of sway the child's opinion of that parent. But I think in those situations, if the parent has formed a bond with that child, nothing that the other parent should be able to say against that parent should break their relationship. So even if you are in co-parenting, even if you are not getting along, if you guys haven't figured out just yet, because I always believe there's going to be conflict, but it's always mendable. So even if you are having conflict and you're not able to fix it as co-parents, you should still focus on that child. The child is most important, because I know a lot of situations, sometimes a parent tries to keep the child away from the other parent, but that parent should try to have made such a bond so much that that child knows that that other parent loves them.
Right.
Akira also said, and consider that horoscope. And he said he's a Taurus and she's a Pisces, equals kaboom. It just
Okay.
wasn't gonna work. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. You know, sometimes that astrology can be so dead on, which is kind of scary, right? When you read the astrology, sometimes it's so dead on. But yeah, you want to look at all factors. You know, everything that's in this universe, you want to look at it, whether it's astrology, whether it's.
That's funny because like always, even in regards to not like even in regards to just certain friendships, I'm like, what's your sign?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good to know that sometimes.
Yeah.
Of course, not to set it in stone, but it's good to know. I mean, if that's what you want to do,
that's good to know.
Different angles of how to look at a person. You know what I mean? He also said, also known as spiritual connection has to be on point. That's key. You definitely want to be equally yoked in everything. And it just works for the child. You don't want the child to grow up, well, I was raised this way, but my father was raised this way. My mother did this way. So it's just easier when things are whole in one.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, primarily you look at what would be in the best interest of my future children. Would it be in the best interest of my future children if I had a child with such and such? If you find any way to say no, if there's like a whole bunch of pros and one no, then no.
And it's okay to say no to somebody who you think is great for you, but not for your children.
Right.
It's okay to say no. Don't sacrifice that. Just because they're okay for your children, it doesn't always mean they're okay for you, or just because they're okay for you doesn't mean they're okay for your children.
Right.
I'm a firm believer that all things work together for the good. So even if that doesn't work, something else will. So just keep trying.
Yeah.
But this was such a fun topic. Does anybody else have anything they want to say before we close out?
Just act in the best interest of your children, current children. If you're not with the co-parent and you're thinking about marrying someone else that will be a father figure or a mother figure, or for your future children, if you don't have children yet, just think of what would be in the best interest of my future children.
Actually, one more thing I want to say real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, one other piece of relationship advice I was given, before you consider being someone's spouse or even fiance, you need to see if you can be their friend first.
Oh,
Exactly.
yes.
Yes.
There's a difference between liking somebody and loving somebody.
Yeah.
So you can love somebody and not like them, and you not liking them is going to really interfere with the love at some point.
Yeah. And on that note, too, people get annoyed with each other, and I understand because you can get annoyed with the family that you love dearly. But if you hate being around that person at like any given time, then that's a bad sign. It's a red flag.
Right.
So we understand that relationships have their ups and downs, but just really clearly rationally think whether you can actually get along and be someone's friend.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Definitely.
Also, too, you need to find out if there's any mental issues in the family.
Exactly.
If he has some mental issues.
Or
if his mom has some.
Yeah, that's important. You need to do a physical background check of everything, and that's okay. Because, like I said, when you're dealing with children, you want to break generational curses, right?
Yeah.
That's basically the object, to break generational curses. So you want to make sure that you do a complete background check on that person overall, right?
Right.
And then just think too, financially speaking, if someone is struggling currently with their financial situation, bringing a child into that situation is not going to magically make it better.
Exactly.
You're going to have to dedicate more resources and more financial resources into that child. So where is it going to come from if someone's already struggling?
That's just a toxic situation that you don't have to be in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's beforehand, then you wouldn't have to be in that type of toxic situation.
Or if he has addictions.
Yes.
Yeah, all of that. All of that. You
addictions,
want to make sure you do a thorough background check on everything.
Because it's your children's future. Because remember, your children and your family, they are eventually going to turn around and maybe take care of you in your golden years. So, and you want them to be placed in a great environment. Remember, our topic on Tuesday was what has the more influence on you, your family, your environment. So remember that you're going to place your child in certain environments, and either they're going to love it or hate it. And sometimes they're going to blame you, and sometimes they're going to love you for it. So they're your some people say they're not your legacy, but I believe that your children are your legacy. They carry on through you. So it's going to be your future legacy on the line.
That's right. Lakira said, interesting topic. She'll have to come back and listen. Yeah, listen to this one and leave your comments in the section. We love when you comment, Lakira. And she also said, cute hair. Thank you. It was funny because all of us have braids.
Yes, we do too.
Even though mine are locks, but yeah, I like that we all have the the braids. Yeah, going on. It's nice.
And to your point, you made a point earlier, after you have to get to know someone and all of their temperaments, I guess, and all of their feelings, the different emotions. You also have to get to know someone in all of the 4 seasons at least. Before you decide anything, any serious commitments. The biggest commitment to make with someone is having a child with them. So whether you're doing marriage or whether you're considering having a child with someone, the biggest commitment is actually making a child with someone. That's a lifelong bond. You can get divorced. That's easy. Yeah. Marriage is easy to separate from. Yeah. But having a child, you're just not going to be able to separate from that.
And even the key little points, like who's going to take the garbage out? Who's going to wash dishes?
Yep.
You know, those are questions that we don't even think about asking. That once you get into the relationship, you might find out, dang, I'm the one taking the trash out. I have to cook, you know?
Yeah, and I have to change the diapers all the time. Yeah. I mean, ask the potential mate, the potential co-parent, are you open to like changing diapers?
Yeah.
Like, are you open to feeding him? Does the child have to be around the mother at all times in the first 6 months? Are you going to do anything?
Do you want me to stay at home for the first year of their life? Do you want me to work? Does the husband want to stay at home? Do y'all both want to stay at home? So that's something that you definitely have to look at.
Because parenthood, it's a burden. Yeah, all of the it's a joy, I guess. That's what they say.
It's a burden. You said it's a burden.
I mean, I'm not a parent yet.
But it's
a joy.
Y'all were like, yeah.
I know, we're like, yes, sister. Okay,
talk to her later.
Build a sister up on here, but we'll talk to her later. But yeah, it's definitely a joy to have a child because you are watching them grow up into an adult. The stages of life go back. They are a child. We take care of them. As we get older, they kind of take care of us, even though it's not their responsibility to take care of us. But just, you know, when you love them, when you love a person so much, and you just kind of want to give that back. You know what I mean? So some kids are like, I'm not taking care of my mom when she gets older.
I'm gonna put her in a home.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's not their responsibility solely, you know, to take care of us. So, because each person has to live their own life. You know what I mean? They have to do what works for them.
Yeah, and you don't want to be hateful or you don't want to develop resentment towards your own child because of the spouse or the person that you chose to have kids with and take it out on your kids.
Right.
So it helps. It definitely helps to pick a great partner to actually assist you in the rearing of the child.
All right, this was such a fun topic. I think we all did some pretty good points on this topic. Hopefully we helped some of our viewers and even the ones in the comments, Akira and Akira, you guys, thank you so much for commenting. And Akira, you made some very good points. I think we were dead on with those points. So I thank you for that. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you everybody else for tuning in.
Thank you to our guests.
Thank you to our guests. It's so fun when you come in and join with us and give your point of view also.
Yes,
it makes it so much fun. So thank you so much. As always, remember, build better, build bold, build brilliant, build a sister up and build a brother up.
Bye. Until
Bye.
next time. Bye. Thanks for joining.